right now.
Coming on next on 7, the National Guard coming to Albuquerque to help with the crime problem. How this will impact Bernalillo County deputies. Plus,
71 years old. I got to go back being homeless.
In a Target 7 investigation, where do your tax dollars go when helping veterans struggling with housing?
and Bernalillo County DA Sam Bregman throwing his hat into the ring to be New Mexico's next governor.
Speaking to a veteran who is facing eviction.
I'm not the only story like this out there. I'm just the one story that has enough guts to stand up and be counted.
Target 7 asks how common these stories are among the men and women who serve this country.
You're watching KOAT Action 7 News.
More than 40,000 veterans experience homelessness in the U.S. This is according to the National Coalition for Homeless Veterans. But what happens when they need a home? Where do the tax dollars go to help the men and women who serve this country?
Tonight on a Target 7 investigation, we found one veteran who's now being evicted from his taxpayer-funded home. Here's Jason McNabb.
Shelley, Ron, after being homeless for 6.5 years, getting a voucher from Veterans Assistance felt like a miracle for Richard Hill. He moved into this trailer in Belen in August of 2023. Veterans Affairs and your tax dollars pay $900 a month for the rent. He chips in $200, but he says things turn sour very quickly.
It hasn't worked in years.
This is Richard Hill's home.
No water. You see the mouse infestation? The toilet doesn't flush.
He's a 71-year-old Army veteran battling a heart condition and emphysema.
The VA said you need a wheelchair ramp. Okay. They sent somebody out.
He says the man who installed it ran into his gas meter. The rest of the winter, he struggled to keep warm.
Called legal aid. They said give him $72 in April and go buy a floor heater.
And then there were more problems. The water line was broken. The landlord came out and temporarily fixed it. It broke again and again. And this is his furnace.
It's hooked up here, but it's not hooked up to the heater.
And now he faces eviction.
I don't know what to do. I'm 71 years old. And if I get evicted, the VA has told me I can't get another house voucher for 3 years. So at 71 years old, I got to go back being homeless. I don't want to die yet. It's hard. And I don't know why people aren't helping out. I haven't done anything wrong.
Target 7 reached out to the landlord. He didn't want to go on camera, but agreed to answer questions. He says he has been helping out. He says the property was in excellent shape when Richard moved in. Both he and Richard have an inspection report from El Camino, the housing authority that approves government-subsidized properties. The landlord says that Richard has not been taking care of the property and claims the 6 dogs he has is to blame for the damage.
So where do you go from when you're down? When you hit the bottom, how much further down can you go? That's where they shove these people. There's no place to turn for help.
Retired Marine Paul Caputo is an advocate for veterans. He says this is not uncommon to see them on the streets even after they serve. He's also a landlord himself. We asked if it bothers him to hear about Richard's situation.
Bother me? It tarnishes my soul. As a taxpayer, I pay a lot of taxes. Okay, I'm a retired police officer. I have my pension, Social Security, and I own a business. And I live well. But I would like to see accountability as a taxpayer because they take a big chunk from me.
Caputo says some veterans struggle to adapt back into society.
People have to understand there's some veterans that we come out and we're okay or somewhat okay and have a family and we're very fortunate in life. But there's a vast percentage of us that just, it consumes you. It's in front of your eyes 24/7. It's a cloud on your soul.
Richard's landlord has said he has done all he can, and the choice to evict is because his tenant wasn't taking care of the property.
A landlord's trying to evict the tenant, they have to follow the rules.
KOAT legal expert John Day says tenants have some protections, especially when it comes to a lack of working utilities.
And if the landlord doesn't address it, theoretically, you don't have to pay the full amount of the rent for the time that you're not getting what you contracted for.
Day says in this case, it's unclear who's at fault, and Richard would have to go to a court to stop the eviction.
If you're a tenant and you're in a situation like that, you don't necessarily have to get a lawyer. The courts have a lot of self-help information that tells you what your options are, what your rights are.
Now, we reached out to the VA and El Camino Housing in Valencia County. They both have yet to get back to us. For Target 7, I'm Jason McNabb.